Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yesterday, someone I work with who does television as well as radio, he said to me, Mike's Daily Podcast. He said, "You're a good-looking guy, Mike. The hair's a little weird." I'm like, "What hair?" He said, "Exactly. You see, this is the thing you learn from people in my biz. It's interesting." And later there'll be a quiz. Oh, hey, so my podcast picture I'm going to tell you right now has to do with Mike's Daily Podcast. Oh, I am so tempted. All right, I got some awesome pictures. Hey, everybody, I got some great pictures. Mike's I'm going to show you some pictures from my podcast wallet. My podcast wallet. Yeah. Let me just open it up and show you all the pictures. Hey, kids, back in the day when we wanted to brag about our kids, I don't have kids. I have a dog. I have a dog son who's now an elderly dog son. But back in the day when we wanted to brag on the bragger. When we wanted to do that, we would pull out our wallet, show all the pictures inside things. And there would be this tremendous... Okay, so I pretty much described that story. The thing is, we used pictures in our wallets, and this whole thing would come flapping out with all these different pictures so we could brag to people as many times as we wanted. Now we pull out our phone. Show everything. Go to the photos thing. I like to go to Google Photos because in a project I think I told you about on this podcast about 2 years ago, I uploaded everything I have to Google Photos. They give you unlimited storage if you store it. They do a stripped down version of the JPEGs of all the pictures. The pixels are economized. It's like an MP3. When you listen to an MP3, that's not the full audio, but it's just enough that you get the gist. Your ears go, I like this. This sounds right.
And here's today's podcast picture.
This sounds normal. By the way, speaking of the podcast picture today, it is going to be of, even though I'm really torn, I'd love to show you pictures from this amazing day I had, June 18th of 2016, where I took this amazing walk with Basil the Boxer. Went from Point Isabel all the way up to the Richmond Marina, all the way over to Rosie the Riveter Factory. I'll save that for later, though. Although I also have these awesome pictures from Santa Cruz, which we had was it Antonelli Pond from yesterday? It's a little pond there just off close to the Natural Bridges Park in Santa Cruz. Basil was with me that day. But you can see all those pictures at MikesDailyPodcast.com. And be thankful that I don't live stream a Facebook Live when I do this podcast, because I'm looking at a mirror. No, not a mirror. A window. I'm looking at a window. There's glass near my face is what I'm saying. So I'm getting a bit of a reflection. And I'm thinking, hey, I could probably do a Facebook Live thing. I'll just pull out my smartphone. I'll turn the selfie camera on, and I got adequate light here at Cafe Anyway, and I could just do that. Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth.
Anyway.
Cafe Anyway. Well, I would do that. It would be the most boring video you would ever watch. If you want me to do that, you have to let me know. Either comment on any of the social media, which you can find links to all the social media I'm at MikesDailyPodcast.com, or you can also email me, MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com, or call me, 336-MM-DAILY. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what this podcast has been now for many, many days. I think I deserve a wow. Wow! That would work. Now, wow, indeed. So much to cover, so little time. Thank you for listening to episode 2066. Before you know it, we'll be at 2100. I'm hoping I'll be alive in 2066. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully you will be too. Unless you're already 100, then that's going to make you quite old. But you know what? Good luck to you. I watched Christopher Plummer. That guy doesn't seem to... He's non-stoppable. Is that the word? Unstoppable. Mr. Christopher Plummer was the male lead in Sound of Music. Julie Andrews and him. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. Boy, does that sound nationalistic? You have to understand the context of Sound of Music, and you understand why that was okay. But Christopher Plummer is now... So, gosh, is he in his 90s? By the way, he was doing a Shakespeare play at some big festival. I'm paraphrasing here. I'm trying to remember from memory, and I've been up since 4:10 this morning. He couldn't do a particular performance, and William Shatner stepped in, and that was his first big break. So William Shatner always thanks Christopher Plummer for sending him on his way. In fact, he returned the favor by putting him in a movie, a Star Trek movie, that I think was one of the most panned Star Trek movies. Was it Star Trek V? The one with God and all that? That was kind of an interesting one. All right, here's what I would like to tell you about... I've been thinking a lot about this whole defunding police thing, and I've talked about it and talked about the pros and cons of it. A big con just appeared to me about it, and you would probably agree that there's going to be a lawlessness. Now, how lawlessness manifests itself, are we going to be in... Is it going to be like Mexico, where the drug cartels take over? Is that going to happen in America? Are we going to allow that? I have this feeling that that's not going to happen. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. What I'm saying is, it seems that if you could go one way or the other. If you had the police, you don't want a police state where there, martial law and all that, and you don't. Then you're in Germany and World War II. It's horrible, and we don't want that. We don't want it the other way either, where the gangs take over, where the mob takes over, where all the crime elements take over, and lawlessness reigns. So where do we fit? Where does it work? And how far will the pendulum swing? Right now it's swinging so far, I guess, to the left. A lot of people think that the defunding police idea is a leftist idea. If it goes that far, and we leave it like that for a while, and people start dying because of gangs, etc., and what you get when you don't have... what anarchy? What this little young man is saying to us.
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means, but I love it!
I don't know if we're going to love it. And so when the pendulum swings that far, I think people are going to go, wait a minute, maybe we were wrong about that. Even the people that were marching all the way to the mayor's house, the governor's house, banging pots and pans. Defund the police! Defund the police! Well, maybe that's not the best idea when you've got crime lords taking over. I want to bang a pot and pan right now. There. Oh, that felt good. I would do it some more, but I'm kind of busy.
I'm really busy right now.
Thank you, Chip. Oh, God, don't we love... Oh, by the way, music videos. My lovely lady friend showed me a music video from Chromeo. Chromeo's a duo playing some funky electro dance music. They were from Canada. Mid-2000s, the mid-O's, they start having hits. They are... there was a video they did that had Napoleon. And the guy that played Napoleon Dynamite. And I always get his name wrong. It's not Jared Hess. That was the director. It's Heder, right? I always get his name wrong. Okay, I'd look him up right now, but I'm on a roll. I got so much to get to, and it's a little show. And you know what this show is?
This show is about me, and it always has been.
That's why it's called Mike's Daily Podcast, but you can chime in if you would like to. I need to play one more Napoleon thing here. Hang on.
Sweet.
There we go. Okay, so he's in this video for like a brief second, and it made me think. So these guys, Chromio. Oh, what the heck? All right, I have to take my hat off my head because now I'm having trouble accessing the information I wanted to tell you about. I am definitely stoppable today. Oh, let me jump back real quick. Speaking of movies, Knives Out is the Christopher Plummer movie I was referencing. It came out late last year. Oh, gosh, it's got Don Johnson, who looks pretty good for his age. Oh, gosh. Who else is in this? Jamie Lee Curtis. And this gal, I can't think, this young lady, she looks a little like a really young Jennifer Connelly. Think, if you want to, think Labyrinth. Then there is, and then Captain America, Chris Evans is in it. So it's a good, it starts out, and Daniel Craig, James Bond, doing a, say this is, in fact, somebody says to him, you sound like are you Foghorn Leghorn? It's KFC meets CSI, someone says. I think that's Chris Evans' line. So Daniel Craig does the whole Nolans accent. He does a good job. It's so cool to hear him not, in the James Bond movies, he's always kind of doing a Christian Bale, like kind of a growl through most of his movies, to be, the menacing James Bond. Don't mess with James. And I cannot find my James Bond theme anymore. Shoot. Well, at any rate, it's an interesting movie. It takes a lot of twists. You think it's one kind of movie, then it becomes another kind of movie, then it becomes another kind of movie, and you're like, wait, what? Huh? I wasn't expecting any of this. What's going on? Okay, I kind of expected that. No, that didn't happen. And it's not too gruesome, and it doesn't have the violence that's just in your face, that's just meaningless. I so hate that. You know how I feel about movies. I am the most anti-movie guy on the planet right now, and my lovely lady friend talked me into watching it, and I thank her because it turned out really good. So I think you might have to pay to watch it on Prime, and the James Bond theme, by the way, went something like dun 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 dun. Okay, there you go, a little bit of that. That's all I could get. All right. Because I can't seem to find James Bond today. John Bolton's book, apparently it's a page turner. Apparently it's got a particular guy upset. He's saying things like,
you are fake news.
Fake news. Fake news.
People that are big pro-Trump fans are saying, this book's just going to go away, it's just going to fade away, and who cares? John Bolton's not even in office anymore. I remember when Mr. Bolton, and I wish I was talking about Michael Bolton, because how can I supposed to live without you? I'm missing you now. Love is a wonderful thing. I think those were the lyrics. Time, love, and tenderness. Okay, enough Michael Bolton. So John Bolton, at the time that Trump hired him, was huge on Fox, was huge with the right, was huge. Yeah, did we all forget that? Incidentally, to everybody over on the left now, I'm looking over there now, to people that are leaning Democrat. Remember how worried you were when Kavanaugh was going to get he was getting confirmed and becoming a Supreme Court justice? Remember how worried you were? And now, 2 decisions came down within the past week that went really in the Democrats' favor. I mean, the whole Dreamers thing, you heard that got knocked down. The Trump can't take it away. And then the thing with the LGBTQ discrimination. Did you expect that? With Kavanaugh becoming confirmed, it was like the end of the world as we know it. They were singing that R.E.M. song. Democrats were like, oh my God, it just, everything's ending. And I think I understand why Kavanaugh was detested so with the whole thing where, did he do that? Was he that way towards women? Is he still like that? But I won't rehash that. That was a miserable time. Okay, so people are moving to Florida in droves. Did you know that? Do they want the coronavirus? I guess they do. By the way, here in in California, which is a part of America, sometimes it just feels like a huge country that, I guess, wants to secede, but we're back to wearing masks again. Gavin Newsom's like, yeah, even if you go outside, wear a mask. Always have a mask on at all times. I don't know. I guess I can walk without a mask. I think that was allowed if I'm going for just a normal walk. But if I'm anywhere near people, I got to have a mask on. That's how we are. In Florida, not so much. And the coronavirus is spreading, as you know. So, anyway, people want to move to Florida. And part of that is people want to be somewhere where, there's the ocean in Florida. It's so nice and warm, less expensive. You got your pool, you got amusement parks, cheaper to live there. And then, hey, you're also still working for your company because everybody's doing the work from home thing. So more and more it's becoming, hey, I can work where I want to, and I'll make the money where I work. Now, I work probably about 15 miles from my home, and I can do a lot of working from home, but I'm finding like lately I've been coming into work every day. But it's not like it used to be because I don't have to stay here for crazy long amounts of time where I'm doing nothing. All the stuff that I can, I'm here and I'm doing work, and then I go home and I take care of any other stuff. So it's the remote working thing. Thank you, Citrix. Thank you, LogMeIn. Thank you, all the other ones. Is making it so that we can do that. But so people are just saying, I'm going to move where I want to live. I want to be there. Not that where I have to work, where I have to make the commute easier. And then I'm just going to jump through some things real quick. Dixie Chicks. Okay, they want the Dixie Chicks to take their name and Dixie represents dark part of America, a racist part of America. So I interviewed the Dixie Chicks years ago when they first came out. You can hear that interview at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Go to the interview section. Go under D and it should be there. That is not where they got their name from. They got their name from a song by Little Feat. I'll be your Dixie chicken. You'll be my Dixie chicken. I'll be your something man. I forget how it goes, but it's a nice little ditty, nice little dancey number by Little Feat, a much loved band. They were sort of the Southern fried version of Grateful Dead, and people loved Little Feat, and so did Dixie Chicks. So they named themselves after that Dixie Chicken song they had. That's what it is. It's not we hate any particular race. It's not derogatory towards them. I don't get. It's gotten too far. But I just gave you the facts. That is what the name the Dixie Chicks came from. It wasn't a slur or anything. That's the facts. Now, how that name is interpreted, and the Dixie Chicks, they're going to change their name. They just came out with an album. I don't know how well it's doing. I don't think it's doing that well. I heard one song off of it, and I'm like, okay, she hates Adrian Pasdar. I get it. But that was, and then it kind of faded away. Some of their early stuff, people forget. Late 90s, early O's, they were huge. Their album Fly was one of the biggest country albums of all time, rivaling Garth Brooks. And it was a all-female country group, Actually, they weren't completely all female. When they toured, they had several males on stage with them. But they were a very talented group of ladies. Talented women performing. And I've interviewed them, and you can hear it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Wanted to also mention that all the late-night comedians are pushing us to feed America and to donate to... And there's a lot of... all the charity stuff that people are doing are online when they do their little live broadcasts and stuff, are trying to help food banks and feeding America and that sort of thing. So it's interesting why we are going that route with charities. Now, it might be changing to more charities that help out minorities in some way, in that kind of direction. But anyway, that's just my little sticking my finger in the air and feeling which way the wind is blowing, that kind of thing. Well, and there's more bear sightings happening for some reason, and more wildlife sightings. I thought we were getting away from that because more people were working, but there was a mountain lion seen in San Francisco, like in the city yesterday. A mountain lion in the city in San Francisco yesterday. There's a joke there. I can't think of it, so I'll just go to this. There we go. And then there was this... this is the... Well, I'll end in, and I'll catch the other topics next show. But when we are all on video chat, when you do a video chat, and I've talked about this a lot, but when you are in front of a camera and you're talking to other people, put a little care into it. Put a little thought into it. Look at the screen. Look at your monitor. Don't look at it once you begin the conference, because then you'll get distracted, like I was talking earlier about doing Facebook Live with this show. Because this would be a much different show if I was doing Facebook Live, because I'd be looking at the camera and contorting my face in particular ways to get added effect for my little diatribes. But it's with the when you're doing that, look at the camera. Look how you look and how you're framing the picture. Like, don't show the whole ceiling and a little bit of your face. Put your whole face in there. Put your hands in there. Put a little care into it. It amazes me how celebrities that are in front of the camera all the time don't even know how to do it correctly. There are lots of ways to do it right, and you can Google it, Bing it, and get that information. Okay, here's some people. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How are y'all doing? Here's my horse, Nelly. That's great. Where's your horse? There's your horse. Didn't see it there behind the tree. Look who else is here.
Hey, Mike, it's the Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what.
What?
You're sure hitting a lot of topics real fast and whatnot.
Let's wrap it up.
Hey, Mike, I make the delicious root beer. Have some right now. Oh, boy.
I am losing wherever any of these sound effects are. There they are. Next show will be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Thanks. And the podcast picture, by the way, is of a masked mic, because we do have to wear our masks again here in California, thanks to Gavin Newsom. So see that masked mic at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!